Matchy match. Okay. Hey everyone, and welcome. My name's Aaron, and today I have the just consummate pleasure of hanging with my good friend, Mike Norris. Applause sound.
Yay.
Yeah. Mike and I go way back, and Mike is partially responsible for my new obsession with pedals. And Mike's been playing for a long time, a lot of different bands, and we've done some albums together.
Yes.
Over the years, and I've always loved your sound and your playing. And I wanted to go through your board here as it currently stands. You just go through some stuff.
Yeah,
we'll
let's
just chat
do it.
about some stuff.
First, thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.
I've been
Pleasure.
I've been looking forward to this.
Oh, great.
And
You
messy. I was joking around, and I was saying before we started that I feel like you walked into my dirty closet, and I was like feverishly tidying right before I got here, and it still looks just like garbage. So mind that. I do have a few shiny new toys that we can talk about, but as Aaron was saying, this has been kind of my mainstay for a while. A lot of these pedals have been on here from the very beginning.
What was the beginning for you? I mean, you've been playing kind of most of your...
Yeah, I feel like I really took a big jump when I started. I had like basically a Dynacomp and a Tube Screamer and a delay pedal, and that was like my sound.
Yeah.
And it's still... To some degree,
that's
like
not a bad,
90%
combo.
My sound.
Yeah.
In fact, this TS9 right here has been the one that I just can't kick off the board. I'm pretty sure I spent like $55 on it on Craigslist or something like that, and it's just it's warts and all. It's been great. So
yeah. So going through from the top, you're coming in.
First one here. Yeah, this is a deep Six Compressor. I would have been happy to keep a Dynacomp on my pedal board forever because I love the sound.
Yeah.
The only thing that I really, really wish I had with the Dynacomp was a blend knob. So when I was in the market for a new compressor, I wanted to be able to have a control over a blend. So right now you can see it. It's about 11 o'clock, and that would probably
40%.
Yeah, I would probably say it's like 40% coming out of the compressor. I'm a little hotter than when I come in.
Well, first of all, first things first.
We totally
second things
over
second, and then we skipped over. What guitar are you playing, and then what amp are you going into?
Right. Times have changed, man.
Yeah.
The times they are
changing.
This
is brand new, right?
This is a 60s reissue. So actually both my guitars that I brought are Fender American Vintage reissue. I like that line from Fender because it feels like it's a nice space between the Fender American and the Fender Custom Shop, which is wildly expensive.
Yeah, right.
We were talking about how chunky that neck is. I don't know if you can see, like... And I got big monkey hands, so you can see it like they fit comfortably.
I don't. I have little dainty chef hands, and I'm not sure if that's a thing.
Elton John has the tiniest hands, and he still manages to play Crocodile Rock like no other.
He does. It's this. My first guitar was a Strat, just an American Standard Strat that I went down to Sam Ash Music in New York City.
Yes.
And I had to go...
That's a great story.
I had to go 3 days in a row because I had to get enough cash out of the cash machine. I don't know if that's... I had a cash card. I had a cash card, but not a debit card, apparently. But yeah, I was hitting the limit. So I had to go 300, and then the next day 300, and then the next day 100, because it was like $700.
$700 is not bad for an American
$700
standard.
Yeah, and it was a silver. And I played that for a number of years. But that's the thing with the Strat, is like, it doesn't matter what kind of music you're playing. It's just like a versatile guitar.
It's probably, in my opinion, the most versatile guitar on the planet.
Yeah.
I can't think of another one that would be more fitting to all styles and genres of music.
Anywho.
So
it's a Strat.
It's a Strat.
It's a Strat. And it's going into the amp that's in the closet.
The amp that's in the closet.
Yeah.
I have always preferred the clean palette when it comes to tube amps. Said, it's just all Fender amps, basically.
Yeah.
I started off with one of those Fender Deluxe, those Hot Rod Deluxes. I gradually moved between different Fender amps until I found the right wattage and speaker size that I'm comfortable with. So right now, I've settled on Fender Princeton Reverb, which we're listening to right now. The Princeton, in my opinion, is the perfect bedroom / small...
Small
club amp. Perfect. There's a couple schools of thought, in my opinion. It's like, one, you have the very crystal clear, clean slate that you can start using colors and palettes on.
Yeah.
And then the other camp is that you should have an amp that you rely like 60 to 70% of your overdrive on.
Yeah.
The problem that I have is that once you go to that overdrive, it's really hard to dial back and to keep your tone where it was before. You'll usually get some sort of funky roll-off.
Yeah. I tend to have that issue a little bit with my amp because I run it just on the edge of breakup, which a lot of people do. They'll run it just right on the edge of breakup because that's kind of where it sounds. It's like where the magic is, sort of a thing. But what I do find sometimes is I don't have the amount with my spaceship of pedals. I don't have quite the amount of clean headroom if I do want to kick on an overdrive with a bunch of boost with like a lot of like just level going into the amp. It reaches that ceiling and then it doesn't really get louder. It just gets more saturated and overdriven or whatever. So I think that's like for our viewers out there, when you're setting up your amp, you just need to be aware of that. Once the amp starts to distort, don't expect it to actually get much louder.
Right.
So if you kick on an overdrive pedal and your amp is already, distorting or overdriving or whatever, you're not really going to get more level out of that amp, no matter where you put the level on your overdrive pedal. It's just going to drive those tubes more, and it'll start to sound wilder, but not necessarily louder. So
yeah, great point.
So that's like part of setting up a sound is like getting the volume on the amp right, and then getting the volume with the pedals right. Hi, dude. So let's hear your amp. Just going straight in there.
That should not be on.
So let's keep that off.
There we go.
Pretty, yeah.
This. That's like Fender, give me an endorsement. That's about as cliche Fender as you get. But that's
Fender
where I like to start. And I'm really, really sensitive about dynamics. I think the more that I've gotten into playing and performing is understanding how to control 0 to 100. And I feel like one thing that I did, which isn't a problem, but I think where I stayed for a while was having these kind of brackets in between. You're like, this was my 0 to 40, and there's nothing in between. But like that was...
It's 0 and then it's at 40.
Yeah. And then just notch it up. 0, 40, 80, 90, and that was it. Where like right now, I really try to like think to myself, how do I get from 54 to 48? I know I'm taking this...
I love it.
This idea really far, but I really want to be able to control every part of my dynamics as much as possible. So a lot of that has to do with starting with the clean slate.
Yep.
The compression that we talked about before is going to limit the dynamic range. So that's going against what I said. But however, compressors have a very distinct characteristic in flavoring your overdrives.
Right. So let's hear that. So again, here's clean tone. So now let's kick on the compressor here.
Yep.
Bingo.
So you're noticing right away, like it's modified. There's the tone is a little bit more saturated, but I'm not losing too much of that dynamic articulation. You can still
play quietly and then play loudly. Yeah.
So it's really delicate.
Right.
By the way, the Walrus, the Deep 6 is almost always on. I don't turn it off. It's one of those pedals that I just like set it and forget it. That's the only pedal on my pedal board that has that exception.
Right.
Everything else is a flavor that needs to be added in and out per taste. Anyhow, so from the Walrus Audio, I go to this pedal right here, this gold one called the JHS Morning Glory, which is probably one of my favorite boutique pedals. I've tried a few. I've had a handful on my board at one time or another, but the Morning Glory has beaten out many of them. I know a little bit of the brief history. I know it's a Bluesbreaker clone. So it's one of like the 3 or 4 main flavors of that every other overdrive pedal is based on. It's really convincing in being a transparent overdrive where you're not sure that it's on or not, which is where I love pedals to be set. So the Morning Glory, I like to set as so. You can kind of see. Generally, what I try to do most of the time is 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and 3 o'clock, or something like that.
Let's hear this guy with no further ado.
Yeah. So it's definitely there. You know it's there, but it's transparent enough where it's really convincing to make it sound like it could be just.
And with drive, so really that's a very mellow sort of range. I'm just gonna turn this knob here, and just play a little bit.
It's still very articulate. Like, it's not buried. It doesn't sound just like one mushy tone.
Yeah. Yeah, really nice. And then this switch here, I'm assuming is maybe different clipping modes?
No, it's actually a top boost or something like that. It's in the down or the off position, so if you flip it down, I think you have the high end. So if I was using a humbucker guitar, or even my Les Paul Jr., that goes down. Yeah. So that's another great part about that pedal is that when I want to switch between a single coil and a humbucker guitar, that toggle goes really in handy because I never need that extra top end when I'm playing Fender guitars. Yeah. But if it's a Gibson, for sure.
Right. Can I plug into your? Can I plug into you? I know we're gonna. Oh yeah, there you go. I'm just gonna have my way with these two pedals real quick. I mean, that's all you need right there. And you have a little reverb coming from the amp.
A tiny bit, just to make it like Ryan Adams likes to say, it's just to get it like a little hairy. It's just a tiny bit.
Is that a spring in there? Or
the Princeton Reverb has a spring tank in there. It's just a classic.
Man, I really like that.
That's a really good example right now why I like this pedal is that you can clean it up really easily.
Just by playing lighter.
Yep. And you didn't even touch your volume knob there.
Nope. Fun. What do we got next?
Okay.
Morning Glory. Love that. Loving that pedal.
Yeah, so the Morning Glory goes into the Tube Screamer. So this has been where I set Tube Screamers for the last 10 years. I don't think I've changed anything about it. Generally 11 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and between 2 and 3 o'clock on the tone.
Yeah.
And it's just such a usable sound. So I can give an example of that.
In-between thing, yeah.
So right now...
So much more aggressive.
Yeah.
That unmistakable Tube Screamer mid-range
the mid-quack.
bump. The mid bump.
Yep. Yeah, there's that. The age-old credence, don't scoop the mids when it comes to guitars, right? So it's the one pedal, I think, to rule them all. I think, in my mind, it's one of the greatest. And if there's anybody that asks me what pedal I should start off with, any pedal for a guitar, what should I get? Tube Screamer. It's the first thing that you want to get is a Tube Screamer. It's unmistakable. And you really can't set it wrong.
Even if you bump the knobs, it's
sort of
bump
the knobs,
still
or there's not a bad sound to it. Unlike a lot of other distortion pedals like the Rat or whatever. It's once you go past 11 o'clock, it's just danger territory. Or a fuzz pedal that just kind of gets into zipper mode.
Right.
The Tube Screamer is just fantastic.
Tried and true.
So it just cleans up really nice. in between. It's just the one pedal. I just can't see myself getting rid of it.
Yeah.
And then the other reason I like it, you can see it's sandwiched in the chain between the next pedal, which is a boost, and the Morning Glory. And it's perfect. I have that very deliberately set so that I can drive it with the Morning Glory, which has that top end grit to it, or I can kick on a boost in front of it and let it sing kind of to the front.
Let's hear the differences between that. So here's the Tube Screamer by itself with the compressor, just rocking.
You just kind of hear it just squeezed a little bit more.
So you could hear what's happening there is like obviously when we kick this on,
more gain, but the output is more consistent.
Yeah. A reason for that is the Morning Glory, since it's before the Tube Screamer, it's driving the input to the Tube Screamer. And the Tube Screamer only has a certain amount of headroom within the pedal itself. So it's driving the input of that Tube Screamer, and then the Tube Screamer is going like, it's getting all saturated and fuzzy and everything, but it's not really outputting a lot more volume.
It's soaking a lot of the output.
Whereas this boost, which is just a clean...
Yeah, you can hear when the boost is on, it almost does the exact opposite, where it's maintaining the gain,
the tone of the Tube Screamer.
of the Tube Screamer, but boosting the output.
It's just a volume boost.
It's just a volume boost.
It's just a volume boost.
So in that vein, to move on to the next pedal, you could actually talk about this.
Yeah, this one. This used to be
belongs
mine.
to somebody else, doesn't it?
Yeah. You have tape on every one of your pedals, by the way.
This
too.
is not my doing, by the way. This is just how it used to be really like reflective.
It was all chrome. Yeah,
it was chromed out.
Yeah. So
and it does one thing.
This is a Creation Audio Labs MK423. I don't know why it's called that. But all it is a boost, and I played
with like a nuclear weapon or something.
I don't know. It is literally just a clean boost and just sort of very high quality internal components, very, very clean, and it has like 24 decibels of boost, which is, I mean, you heard what it sounded like at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can imagine if you started cranking that thing.
I have to watch out for that one too.
It is a powerhouse of a pedal.
If I could actually like tape the volume knob down too, I would, just because it's so finicky. If you just bump it just a tiny little bit, you'll notice.
It's definitely, and the tape on there, if you're wondering, is just because under stage lights it was just like reflecting.
It's why all the other tapes on there. You can see why the Morning Glory has
JHS. This Morning Glory has an insanely bright light.
Very bright.
That's the crazy thing. Let's just turn on this light without the tape here. For our viewers okay, so that might not look that bright on the screen, but just trust me, it's bright.
It's very bright. Anywho.
So anyway, that's kind of your gain section here.
Yep.
You've got a lot of flavors. Where do we go from there?
So from there, we hit my delay. I don't know. I have a love-hate relationship with this delay. It does everything that I wanted to do in a very old-fashioned. I feel like it's like the old Chrysler that I just can't get rid of off the lot.
Yeah.
It's clunky, and I of course this is a lot of my doing because I have this tap tempo, which this switch right here, and I should get a nice. They have such pretty clean little tap tempos nowadays.
Yeah, little tiny ones or
that
whatever.
You can squeeze on your board, like glue to the side or something like that.
Yeah.
But lo and behold, I just haven't bothered to upgrade it.
Yeah.
So it takes up a lot of space. I think that's probably my biggest gripe. For what it does, there's probably other delay pedals that could do what I want a delay pedal to do and not have to have so much real estate taken up.
What do you want a delay pedal to do?
I want to be able to have presets. So I don't like pedals that don't have some sort of preset functionality.
Yeah.
The main reason being is that if you're playing to a song that has a very specific tempo, synced delay, it's really important to have presets and a dial to be able to set the BPM. But this guy's been great just because I basically have 5 different settings at any given time. I have the 4 presets plus whatever the normal is set to. Generally speaking, I have 2 different delay types that I like going between. So this is kind of like an example of what I would set as a digital delay, something with medium fast repeats with a longer tail and like tone pretty high, or at least not taking any tone off. So it kind of gives you that. It's, like kind of like the edge, that U2 sound. It provides a nice texture, as opposed to the other delay type. Yeah. So if I have a line. I use it for rhythmic lines like that. Yeah. Something that would be like a repeating pattern or a solo. This the analog style delay is great for solo because when I use an analog delay, my rule of thumb is I kind of like to mask it in the overall tone. Right. I don't want to necessarily hear it overall. This would be a little actually like loud. I would set it probably.
Get it a little mellower.
That way, if I'm just out in front or if I'm doing something.
Right.
The idea for me is that you can hear the tail at the end, but when you're playing, it's kind of masked underneath. Yeah. Whereas a digital delay, I want those repeats to be heard as I'm playing it. Yeah. Does that kind of make sense?
If you're getting lost in a psychedelic solo, a Pink Floyd thing, or whatever.
You
want that dark, those dark repeats that are, typically longer. Yeah.
Just hidden underneath.
Did they disappear?
Yeah. I like it to, and right now we're not playing in a band context, obviously. Yeah. But it's you dial it into taste, and right now you can see it's generally around the 40-45% mark. Right. If you're in a full band, you guys are playing heavy, and you're trying to stand out in a lead, I would set that probably higher to like 60 or 70% in the mix.
So that's your delay. And then anything else about the delay, or what comes next, or what's interesting?
We can leave the delay behind.
Let's leave the delay in the dust.
Let's leave it. I don't have. Delay. I wish I had a really like a fancy delay to show off a lot of stuff.
So this one's been like on your board for a long time, but you don't have the attachment or the degree of love that you do for something like the tube.
You're absolutely right. Yeah. It's just like the drunk uncle that you can't get rid of at your holiday party.
And he's serving his purpose because he makes the punch.
Exactly.
And he makes the punch.
He always brings a really good like Santa gift.
He makes the punch pretty good every year. So it's like, well, if I get rid of, if I tell him he can't come, then someone else has to make that punch.
Yeah. Anywho, we will move on. The next pedal is it's
shiny and new.
It's the odd man out right now. It looks very, very. I stare at it and it looks like.
It's a nice blue color.
It is. It's really fancy.
It's a fancy pedal.
Either I just need to degrade it a little bit, or just
it's too pretty for you right now.
I need to spit on it and just scuff it up a little bit. It's way too pretty. You're right. But
not for me. I like pretty things. I
do too. It's a gorgeous pedal. I mean,
I know what you mean though, because you're much more rock and roll than I am.
Yeah,
I'm in a pop band, and I love being in a pop band. But it's shiny things. But tell us about this pedal.
So this pedal goes against everything that I believe in terms of using pedals. I already hate it.
Why do you say?
One, because it's worth more than every one of my other pedals combined on the pedalboard.
Yep.
2,
expensive pedal. Number 1.
Yeah.
Number 2.
It's very complicated.
Yes.
Well, I shouldn't say they did a great job with the user interface. There's the experience is actually pretty seamless.
Pretty good.
I'm picking it up pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. The user experience is not bad.
However, still complicated compared to a Tube Screamer, which you turn on and turn off.
Here's why I think I have to have it on my pedal board is because it's basically 12 different engines.
Yeah.
It's got 12 different modes of modulation in one box, and they do them all fantastically.
Yeah.
Like every single algorithm they use is super high quality.
So idealistically, you're opposed to it, but in practice, you turn it on and you're like, I can't not. Sounds too good.
I can't not.
Yeah. And it's expensive, but it would be more expensive to buy a chorus and a flanger and a rotary
and a Univibe, and a Qtron, and a Pog.
Tremolo, and another kind of tremolo, and an auto swell.
It's the pedal that I bought to kind of push me to like make everything else a little bit more neat and tidy, or take it a little bit more seriously. So far, I'm actually really, really enjoying what I'm getting out of it.
Love it. Let's hear some sounds from it. Why don't we just hear it?
When I think of chorus, I always think... I mean, that's the chorus sound. But there's also really cool... and it's the other reason the Stratocaster is a great choice for a very heavy modulation tank like the Mobius.
Yeah.
Is because between my Stratocaster and the Mobius, I have infinite possibilities.
What other kind of sounds do you like on there? What else do we like?
What I really like, this is one of the first sounds that I set up, and specifically for this, I mean, you'll hear it.
If you don't know what that is, go Google it.
Go Google it.
You're too young.
And even then, that's a really deep flanger effect. I would probably try to back off a little bit. But the quality... So, lots of fun stuff there.
That's just the chorus and the flanger.
Yeah, lots of other
Let's hear some
stuff.
weird stuff.
Just really fun stuff. I was playing with this.
This formant is weird.
You can do different vowels. And you can change the second vowel too, so it can be like
vowel 1.
Vowel 1, and then vowel 2 is over here. So you'll hear it'll go between them. I love it. I don't know when I would ever use that.
Yeah.
I don't.
It's kind of the auto wah thing, but in a weird, kind of a strange way.
Right. I really like...
Tremolo's good.
Oh, yeah. And this stuff you could use all over the place with.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
Great. Yeah, and it's got the harmonic tremolo, which is really weird mode. Harmonic tremolo, it modulates the upper and lower frequencies alternately. That's what harmonic tremolo is doing. So when the upper frequency is, or when the lower frequency is up in volume, the upper frequency is down.
Oh.
And then vice versa. So it's a frequency dependent versus just your whole signal. And so you get a little of that. It's almost a little bit of that univibe thing.
Right.
It's toward that.
That's cool. It's like a square shape.
More square shape, yeah. Hours of fun. Destroyer.
This is probably one of my favorites.
You go like 8-bit.
Just so
robot.
I don't know.
It's like a sick robot or something. And then last we have this fancy white pedal. What do we have going on here?
This is a very limited edition.
Yeah.
Handmade by Tom Boss himself.
Yeah. Who you know Tom Boss.
You know, I met him. He was my dad's best friend in college.
Yeah.
And Tom has just been really good to my family. But I hate most of his pedals.
I love the guy, but I hate good old Tom Boss.
All kidding aside,
yeah.
This is just your standard TU-3.
Yep.
It does two things. Tells me if my guitar's in tune or not, and cuts my signal on and off.
Yeah, and you have it at the end of your chain. Not everyone has it there.
Yes.
Tell me why you put it there.
So I very specifically put it at the end of my chain so I can get a very abrupt signal cut when I want it. If I'm going crazy and if...
all your pedals are on.
And that's what you need, just that, like that very abrupt, cut off. And you can see you can hear a little bit of the tail of
you get the reverb on the
tank.
amp. Yeah.
And that's all you need. That's all I need.
And that is useful, even for stops. And we have a couple songs that end like.
Yep.
And I will tell you, it is 100% better to end the song than It's just, it screams like you didn't plan for this, and you're not a pro. If it's on purpose, great, but usually it's not. It's because they didn't realize, when we have a hard stop, it's like, if you want the crowd to go crazy, do a hard stop at the end of your song, you know? That's your board, as of now, anyway. Why don't let's switch guitars.
Yes.
Show me your other guitar. We've had enough of you.
This specific Telecaster is a Telecaster Custom, and it's a part of the American Vintage Reissue series, so it's modeled after a 1972 Telecaster. And I basically bought it because of Keith Richards, because he played the Telecaster Custom in the 70s. Yep. His was black, but it combines everything that I love about the Telecaster, which is the twang bridge pickup with this meaty, Fender calls it's a wide range humbucker.
Yeah.
And I love it. Oh, the pickups are so great.
That's what's in the Starcaster.
Is that right?
2 of those, yeah.
Yeah. They're great pickups. It's a little low on the output side for the humbucker, but both these pickups are individually hotter than any of those Stratocaster. Yeah. But it's just a great guitar. I like being able to have 2 volume and tone knobs for each of the different pickups.
So you can kind of blend, You
can already see it's just that bottom end just opens up. It's already just like throaty, it's guttural. And then... So it goes everywhere in between, like moody dark and brooding to just hardcore twang.
Right.
And then the in-between sound is just so lush. And even if I'm adding... It takes distortion really well.
Cool. Love that. Can I have a play of that one?
Absolutely. screamy really quick, too. You can hear your fingers come through. You know, like I can...
Yeah. Very responsive guitar. It wants you to play it. Some guitars are like, I feel like when you pick them up, it's like a cat. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Especially somebody else's guitar.
Stop that.
Yeah.
Stop.
You're touching me
Stop.
wrong.
It's not allowed.
But I feel like this one just sort of invites, because mine and your playing style is even so different. You know, I'm a tender little. I feel like I'm a tender little kitten, and you're a
caged animal.
You're like a warrior. You know, going out there to battle. But a guitar like this. That's all I need right there.
It's our meet in the middle area. This is where we can connect.
We meet at the Telecaster for sure. I feel like I haven't played this guitar enough through your board. I wonder what this guitar would sound like. Just because we're in Fender land right now. You know?
We are.
We're Fender. We're all Fender. And Gretsch, we need to get. Although I think Gretsch is owned by Fender, but still.
Is that right?
I don't know. Are they? I think Fender bought Gretsch. I mean, honestly, you don't need much to get an inspiring sound, in my opinion. We're getting more into headspace and psychology of tone and things.
The why.
But I feel like, you know, when I first asked you to do this, you were like, well, I don't have a big spaceship pedalboard like you do. And I'm like, dude, for me, I mean, you got a compressor and even like guitar straight into amp.
That's that clean slate I was telling you about right there.
Yeah.
That's the Bob Ross white acrylic. Like, I feel like when I have like an open palette like that, I can do it. I can add anything. You know what I mean? You're
currently with Rolling Stones cover band called Beasts of Burden.
Beasts of Burden.
Tribute band. And what's your, I mean, obviously iconic guitar tones. Maybe I don't know if you could show us some of maybe it's the Telecaster now. Yes. But maybe you could show us kind of some of the sounds that you like to get.
His thing was open tuning. So when I do Stones gigs, I always have to bring two guitars.
What do you tune to here?
So the open G is D, G, D, G, B, D.
Okay.
So you tune the top string down a whole step.
Yep.
And you tune the E and the A string down a whole step.
Okay.
And then, I mean, if you're talking like classic Keith Richards stuff, it'd be... And you just can't achieve that without having an open...
Right.
And then the other classic ones that you've heard. My least favorite Stones song, but it's recognizable just... And it's mostly because he's doing a lot of barring here and grabbing that low A string. In fact, his Telecaster doesn't... The one that he usually has doesn't have
the E string.
The E string. Yeah. It's a 5-string guitar, and his argument is that you just don't need six strings to play guitar. And he's kind of right. Like when I play his stuff, I'm like, okay, that actually makes sense.
I'm learning. But Well, thanks, man. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Mike Norris, everyone. Round of applause, please. Go give Mike's band a check out at beastsofburden.com.
That's right.
Is that right?
Thebeastsofburden.com.
Thebeastsofburden.com. And yeah, thanks so much for joining me.
All right, man.
See you next time.